individuals who were logged on earlier when I did it, but I'll try to copy and paste it in again. Props that you might want, blocks if you typically use blocks, a strap or a scarf, or it can be a t-shirt or something that you can use to kind of loop around a foot, but you don't need it if you don't have one handy, and a blanket if you tend to have more tender knees. There's also a link to the Loveland Foundation, which I'll chat about in just a couple of moments. So nice to have all of you. Thank you for joining. Welcome, Lillian. All right, so just in the interest of time, and Kira, make sure when I'm done talking about this that you tell me to turn on the live Instagram so I don't forget this time. In the interest of time, let me just share my screen really quickly. So, I'm not able to share my screen. So the Loveland Foundation is a foundation that was created by Rachel Cargill, and it is committed to showing up for communities of color in kind of unique ways. And one of their main missions right now is something called the Loveland Foundation Therapy Fund. And it is a fund that is building mental health resources and therapy assistance, primarily for Black women and girls. You can read about it on their website. They have a few different suggestions of how to give, from like teaming up with a group of your peers and friends to give together, or give individually, and all the donations go to creating and building resources, mental health resources for Black women and girls. And I, in my non-yoga teacher life, I guess I'm always a yoga teacher at heart, but I'm a mental health researcher. So mental health is near and dear to my heart, and I'm a big believer in therapy and the usefulness of it for all of us. So it's a foundation that I really resonated with me, particularly in these challenging times. So with that, I'm happy to answer more questions after the class, but in the interest of time, let's go ahead and get started. So if you're just joining, I think actually everyone is already here and has heard my prop listing. Let's go ahead and get started laying down on our backs. I'm going to mute, actually, I don't need to mute all of you. You guys are already muted because Kira muted you. I'm gonna try to get Instagram Live going here.
Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks Valerie for hosting.
Oh, my pleasure. Here we go. Let's see. All right, so we'll get started laying down on our backs. And just make yourself comfortable. Kind of notice the feeling of support of the mat underneath you, of the ground underneath you. And let everything about you be as soft and as relaxed as possible. Now, we're all coming from different places in our lives and different times of the day. So find a place where you can just allow yourself to arrive in whatever place or shape or mental space that looks like and feels like. Just give yourself a couple of moments to land. And I will encourage each of you, especially because I can't see a lot of you because your cameras are turned off, but just be kind to yourself today. Treat yourself with grace and practice in a way that serves you. I usually try to remember to offer steps and modifications, but if you know that what I'm offering isn't going to feel good in your body, then please modify. And know that this shape right here, laying down on your backs, is perfect. This is a yoga practice. And in many ways, laying down on our backs and being still is a more challenging yoga practice than moving. At least it is for me. So this shape right here, laying down, is available to you at all times. Child's pose is available to you at all times. Seated is available to you at all times. And I also have found over the years that visualization, like visualizing the practice in your mind, can be just as, if not more powerful than taking your body along for the ride and moving your body. So again, just an encouragement to practice in a way that serves you. Begin to cultivate an awareness of how you're breathing. Just notice. Notice the movements of your body as you take the breath in and as you let the breath out. Notice how the lungs expand and thus the rib cage expands, and maybe the belly rises as you take the breath in. And then notice this softening through the torso as you let the breath out. Let's take one more breath together. Nice big inhale and a big exhale. And then cultivate a breath, a pace, a cadence that's going to be really serving and sustainable for your practice. Maybe notice how the breath washes over the back of the throat. And the vagus nerve sits back there behind the throat, and just that sensation of the breath washing over the back of the throat can be really calming to the nervous system. So if you opt out of movement today, come back to your breath. Try to check in and connect to this feeling of the breath washing over the back of the throat, and maybe visualize if you're not into moving at the moment. From here, just begin to bend the knees and let your feet find the floor. If you're using a strap or a towel or a scarf or something along those lines, we're going to loop it around the ball mound, kind of right where the ball of the foot transitions into the arch of the foot. And we'll do that around your right foot. Couldn't remember if I said that already. And the right leg does not need to be straight. And if you don't have a strap handy, don't worry, just grab on behind the hamstring or wherever you can comfortably grab and extend that right leg up so it's someplace towards the ceiling. Now, if you are using a strap or something that looks like a strap, take one end of the strap in each of your hands. Left knee can be bent, left foot on the floor, or if you're comfortable, you can extend the left leg long, your choice. Let the back of the skull rest. Your head and jaw don't need to do any work here. And just feel the back line of the body. So notice the back of the skull, the back of the shoulder blades, the spine, the back of the pelvis, heavy and supported. Maybe you have some sensation of lengthening through the back line of that right leg, the hamstring, maybe the calf. And just play around with the position of your right foot. Maybe explore flexing the right foot or pointing the right foot. And if you're using a strap, you can't quite point it like traditionally like a ballerina, but maybe like you're putting on a pair of high-heeled shoes, press the ball of the foot up towards the ceiling. And just find a place that maybe feels a little different. I'd like for you to explore today's practice as if it's one of your first time ever on your mat. Like, become fascinated with growth, with experimentation, with exploring something new, a new path. And it doesn't need to be something huge, but it might just be something small and that you haven't quite taken the time to notice before. And then once you find a good spot for that right foot and ankle, just pause. We're going to take the strap, if you're using one, into your right hand. So put both ends of the strap in your right hand. And if you're holding on behind the thigh, just maintain that. Take a breath in here, and then on your exhale, let that right leg come out to the right just about a quarter of the way. So this is going to be a smaller movement than you might be used to. So many of us just drop into our deepest range of motion, We lay in our flexibility, we rely on that flexibility, or we kind of get hung up on maybe feelings of tightness. And so today I'd like for you to just move the right leg to the right a quarter of the way, it's 25%. And notice if you can feel anything new here. Kind of lingering in this new space. Take one more breath. And then bring that right leg back through center. Now keep the right leg lifted. Transition the strap into the left hand if you're using a strap, and if not, just keep holding onto the leg as best you can and bring that right leg across the body just about 25% of the way. So it's likely that right now your right ankle is probably in line with like your left outer hip in terms of how far it's across the body. So again, so many of us tend to just drop into a full-on spinal twist here. Just notice if there's something new that you might experience in this shape. And it might feel interesting for you to take your right thumb, put it into your right hip crease, and lengthen your right hip crease away from your right ear. So just try to create some space through the right side of the waist. Take one more breath there. And then come back through the center, remove the strap if you're using one, and as if your leg is moving through honey or molasses, lower that right leg really slowly, like slower than you want to, all the way down to the floor. Because again, we drop into these default patterns of moving quickly and not noticing. And once that right leg lands, just take a moment to pause and observe, and notice if the right leg might feel a little longer than the left. Mine always does. And then we'll just switch sides. So bend the left knee, put the strap around the left foot if you're using a strap. Remember, you don't have to have a strap to do this. And then whatever you chose on the other side, either right knee can be bent or right leg can be straight. So choose whatever you want. If you're using a strap, one end of the strap in each hand, and then just play around with like exploring movement in the ankle and that left foot. So again, taking the time here to slow down, to observe. There's going to be lots of opportunity to move a little more quickly later on if you choose. Once you find an interesting position for your foot, pause there, and then take both ends of the strap into your left hand if you're using a strap, and let the left leg drop open to the left just about a quarter of the way. So again, 25%, probably smaller than you want, smaller than you want. And feel kind of empowered to explore here, to explore new sensations. Maybe you don't need to drop into the biggest range of motion to find some space here. What can you explore here? Take one more breath. And then bring that leg back through center, switch the straps. So the left leg is still the one in the sky. And then take that left leg across the body just about a quarter of the way. So it's a smaller movement than usual. If you found it interesting and useful to place your thumb into your hip crease, go ahead and take your left thumb, plant it in your left hip crease, and gently guide your left hip away from your left ear. So you're creating space through the left side waist. For me, that creates a whole host of interesting sensations around my IT band area. I don't know about you. Take one more breath there. And then slowly bring that leg back through center. Remove the strap if you are using one. And again, as if your leg is moving through molasses or honey, slowly, 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 as slow as you possibly can. And maybe even slower than that. Lower that left leg all the way down towards the floor. And hopefully now you feel a little bit more balanced. You can set the strap off to the side. And from here, just reach your arms up and overhead, take a full body stretch, point your toes away from your fingertips, get nice and long through the sides of the waist. And then you're gonna have a couple of options here. You can sweep the arms down by your hips. You might wanna start there just to explore. And instead of having your palms on the mat, turn your palms over so that the backs of the hands are on the floor. And this is just an encouragement for you not to press into your hands. Of course, if it would be more helpful for you to have the palms flat on the floor, do that. Curl your pubic bone up towards your low ribs, but try to maintain some of your natural curve in the low back. So you aren't trying to eliminate that natural curve. You're just trying to cinch in around the waist here, trying to recruit all of the abdominals to just gently hug in. So you can still breathe. You haven't hugged in so tight that you can no longer breathe, but find this corseting action around the waist. And then reach out through your heels. Notice if you started to clench your jaw with that action. And then lift your right leg up just an inch. Now imagine in your mind what a ruler looks like and what an inch looks like. And if you're not on the metrics, if you're not in the US, maybe it's like a few centimeters. So it's a small movement. Again, smaller than you might want. Reach out through your right heel. Try not to muscle down through the backs of the arms and the hands and the back of the head to recruit the leg. Take a breath and then lower that right leg. Keep the belly cinched in and then lift the left leg. And again, it's like barely hovering off the floor. Take a breath in here, reach out through your left heel, and then lower the left leg. And then just pause and notice, and having the arms by your side might be where you want to stay. If you'd like to explore something new, maybe reach the arms up overhead and reach the fingertips away from your toes. Have maybe your palms facing each other. Maybe if you have a block handy, you could put a block in between the hands. These are all just ideas and options. Find that action of corseting in around the waist. You're still maintaining the breath and you're still finding a natural curve in the low back, and then lift the right leg an inch. And then lower the right leg and lift the left leg an inch. And then lower the left leg and lift the right leg. And so you're going at your own pace here. No right or wrong, no perfect pace or cadence. Just find like you're taking these tiny, tiny little baby steps on an imaginary wall that's at the end of your mat. And then if you'd like to explore something else, as you're switching the legs, maybe find a moment of hover time where both legs are off the floor. Again, these are all ideas. You can totally modify, do less, do more, whatever you choose. We'll be here for about another 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Take any movement here that you might need to kind of work out anything that may have crept up during that abdominal series. So for some of you, maybe it's a few twists or just keeping the knees hugging in. Maybe it's some rocking and rolling. Be willing to explore and find a little bit less structure on your mat today. So if you know that there might be something perfect for you to do that I'm not suggesting, take it. And eventually we're all going to meet in a seated position. So make your way up to sit. So happy to see that I'm still on Zoom. I've been kicked off before teaching live, and it was one of the most stressful experiences. So find a comfortable cross-legged position. Maybe let's start with our right leg in front. And if you are someone who would like to sit up on a block or a blanket, absolutely, you can take that here. From here, we're going to take our left or right hand out to the side. Inhale our left arm up and over. Take a little side stretch here. Anchor down through that left sitting bone. Come up through the center. Reach both arms high. Now on your exhale, this time take your right hand over to your left knee or thigh, whatever you can grab onto. Left hand comes behind you and take a little twist. Keep your right hand where it is. And on your inhale, sweep this left arm up and over. Take a side bend. Anchor down through your left sitting bone. From here, keep your right hand where it is. Take your left hand over towards your right knee so your arms are crossed with your left arm on top. Bring the backs of the forearms together, backs of the hands together, or take the full bind into eagle pose. If none of that's available, just give yourself a hug. Left arms on top. Inhale, lift the elbows up away from the floor. And then on the exhale, round in, taking the elbows towards your navel center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, just get a little mobility through the spine, and exhale. And also some broadening in between the shoulder blades. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rise yourself up. Unravel the arms, switch the cross of your legs. So the left leg is in front, or whatever leg you didn't take first. Take the left arm out to the side. Inhale the right arm up and over. Take just a simple side stretch to start. Come back up through the center. Inhale the left arm up. And then on your exhale, twist. Right hand comes behind you, left hand over towards your right knee. Inhale, sweep this right arm up and over. So keep your left hand on your right leg. You're just taking a variation of a side twist or a side stretch. It's kind of like a side twist stretch. Keep your left hand where it is. Cross your right arm over the left, reaching the right hand for your left knee. And then lift up and take eagle arms or whatever variation you took on the other side. 3 times, inhale, lift the elbows up, finding a little bit of lift through the chest. And then exhale, round into the upper back, taking the elbows towards your navel. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale. Awesome. Inhale, lift yourself up, unravel your arms. Take your arms out to the side, make 2 stop signs with your hands. Reach out through the heels of your hands and then lower down or fold in the pinky finger and then the ring finger and then the middle finger and then the index finger. Wrap them all with your thumb and then turn your knuckles down towards the floor and just find a little bit of movement here to stretch through the forearms. And then release that. And we're just going to do a variation on that theme. So now take your thumb to the inside of your palm. Let's start with our right hand. Fold all of your fingers over that thumb. Reach your arm out in front of you and kind of keep your thumb on the top side of the hand and turn your knuckles down towards the floor. So you'll get this stretch through the top thumb side of the hand. And if you'd like a little extra help, you can help that right hand with the left fingers. This one creates a lot of information for me. I don't know about you. I work a lot at a computer though. And then release that. Let's do that on the left hand. So thumb in, fingers curl around. Extend that left arm out so the left elbow is straight. And just gently kind of tip. So the thumb is on top. Tip the fingers down towards the floor. And if you want to do a little assist, you can take the right hand over there. Oh, good stuff. All right, release that. Shake out your fingers, shake out your hands. If you're using blocks, let's just put them towards the top end of your mat so that they are available to you should you want them. And come on to hands and knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's start with just one very traditional cat-cow, something familiar. On your inhale, look forward, let your belly drop, back arch. Exhale, tuck the chin in and round the spine. Now inhale, come to neutral. On your exhale, take your hips over to the right, look over your right shoulder, like you're wagging your tail. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, wag your tail to the left, look over the left shoulder, try to look back at your left hip. Inhale, come back to center. Now take some barrel rolls through the torso. Just, again, some non-linear movement here. We tend to, in yoga, move very linearly. So just find a little bit of unstructured movement here in cat-cow to maybe work out any kinks. So think about moving in all directions as best you can. You might even let your elbows bend a little bit to facilitate that movement. And then balance yourself out there. Walk your hands forward about a hand's length. So your wrists are in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes and sink back towards your heels. Just get a little stretch through the bottom of the feet. Hug the arm bone down and in. So you're just trying to hug that upper arm bone, the humerus, down and into the socket. Keep that and press the floor away. And then lift the hips up towards the ceiling, taking downward facing dog, our first down dog. Take some unstructured movement here. Maybe not your default movement. So what do you always do when you step back to down dog? Do you always kind of bend one knee and then the other? How can you make this a little bit different? How can you think of this as maybe like your first down dog? How can you explore and find something new, some new tidbit of information that might be useful here in down dog, like you're looking at it through the eyes of a beginner. Balance yourself out there. On your next inhale, lift your right leg high. And on your exhale, step your right foot in between your thumbs, coming into a kneeling lunge. So lower down the left knee. Inhale the arms high up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, right hand to right hip. Inhale the left arm straight up, get length through the left side of the waist. And on the exhale, take a side bend over to the right. Inhale, rise everything back up to center. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your back left toes and lift your left knee. So you're in this kind of runner's lunge position. Take a breath in, look forward, and on your exhale, you're gonna step forward, taking the left foot behind the right, or left ankle behind the right ankle, rather. So you're lining up the pinky toe edges of your feet. Now your knees can be bent here. Take a breath in here, lift up halfway, and then on your exhale, forward fold. Pause here in this forward fold. Again, knees can be bent. Walk your hands over to the right. Just creating a little bit of a side stretch here in the forward fold. I'm running up against my wall. Walk those hands back through center. Inhale, lift up halfway again. Exhale and forward fold. Now just embrace the wobbles here. It's gonna happen. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Feel your feet wobbling around, working hard to keep you here. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms rise. Turn your palms away from each other. So the backs of the hands are facing each other, and cross the right wrist in front of the left. Bring the palms back together. Inhale, lift up and out of the pelvis. And on the exhale, take a side bend over to the right. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, hands to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back into crescent lunge. So set your feet up accordingly. You don't need to be on a tightrope. Can be on like train tracks. Inhale, rise the arms, crescent lunge. Take your right hand to your right hip. Inhale, lift the left arm high. Exhale, side bend to your right. Press back through your left heel. Inhale, rise both arms up. And on your exhale, let your left hand find the floor. Right arm is going to stay high. So the left hand can be on a block if you need to bring the floor up a little closer. Now, some of you have done this with me, I know, from my classes, but some of you may not. So if my cues don't make sense, look at the screen. Inhale with the right arm high. Now on your exhale, you're going to thread your right arm in between the left arm and your right thigh. So you're kind of reaching underneath your chest and your abdomen back in the direction of your left thigh, and the right knee will straighten a little or a lot. So it kind of looks like pyramid pose with a bit of a twist. We're going to go back and forth between those two shapes. So on the inhale, bend your right knee, reach the right arm up. So you're in a crescent lunge twist. And then exhale, thread that right arm back and reach it for your left thigh. Let's do two more. Inhale, bend into the right knee as the right arm reaches high. And exhale, thread the right arm back as the right leg straightens. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come back into your twisted lunge. Exhale, both hands to the mat and just step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, pull forward to plank. You can always do this on hands and knees. And exhale back to child's pose if you're taking it on hands and knees. Otherwise, you're in down dog. Inhale to plank. Knees can be up or down. Exhale back to down dog, or if you're on your knees, just take child's pose. Let's do one more time. Inhale to plank. And then exhale back, down dog. Now, if you're in child's pose and you'd like to join in, lift the knees and find down dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward, knee down lunge. Arms rise up on the inhale. On the exhale, left hand to left hip. Inhale the right arm straight up, get length through the right side of the waist, and on the exhale, take a side bend to your left. Inhale, rise both arms high. Exhale, hands to the mat, tuck your back right toes and lift your right knee. Inhale, look forward, because that's where we're going. And on the exhale, step forward, right ankle crosses behind the left and take a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale and fold, and this time on your inhale, walk the hands over to the left. Exhale and just pause there. Inhale, walk the hands back to the center, take a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Embrace the wobbling here. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms rise. On the exhale, turn the palms away from each other, cross the left wrist in front of right. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the sides of the waist, and exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, right foot steps back, set up for crescent lunge. So set your feet up, you're worth it, you're worth the time. Inhale, rise the arms when you're ready. On the exhale, left hand to left hip. Inhale, lift up through the right side of the waist. And on the exhale, take a side bend over to the left, press back through your right heel. Inhale, rise, both arms to center. Exhale, right hand to the mat, left arm stays high. Block can be underneath your right hand. Inhale here in this twist. And then exhale, thread that left arm underneath the body. Reach it back for your right thigh. The left knee will straighten a little or a lot. Inhale, bend into the left knee, reach the left arm up. Exhale and thread that left arm back, reaching for the right thigh. You do not need to touch it at all. Two more. Inhale, bend into the left knee, your left arm reaches high. Exhale and reach back. You got one more round. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back into the twist, pause. Exhale, hands to the mat and step back to down dog. Inhale, pull forward to plank. Your knees can come down to the floor there. If the knees are down, exhale back into child's pose. Otherwise, shift back to down dog. You got two more. Inhale to plank. Exhale back to down dog or child's, your call. One more time. Inhale to plank. Now this time, exhale, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Slide the hands off the mat to the sides and bring them in front of your shoulders. You're gonna have these little like claws for hands. Come up onto the pads of the fingers. I heard a teacher say like talons. I like to think of it more like you're trying to protect a cupcake or something, I don't know. Let your elbows be wide here. Press down through the tops of the feet. Curl pubic bone towards your low ribs. And then inhale, lift through the back of the ribs to lift the torso up, or the chest up rather. Roll the right shoulder back and look back towards your right hip. Maybe even bend your right knee. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, roll the left shoulder back, look over the left shoulder, maybe bend the left knee. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, lower everything down. We're gonna do one more to each side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, look over the right shoulder, maybe the right knee bends. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, look over the left shoulder, maybe the left knee bends. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, pull the heart forward as you lower down. Hands slide underneath your shoulders, press up and back. downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, lift high up on your toes. And on your exhale, bend your knees and either step or hop forward, feet to hands somehow, some way. Inhale to a halfway lift up there. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Come all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's just do one very straight up sun A. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you like there. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Pause. Make a decision. You don't have to ever do chaturanga. You can go straight to down dog. If you're doing chaturanga, take a breath in. And on your exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot forward and pause. So hands are on the floor here. Just set yourself up for crescent lunge. Inhale, rise your arms high. Traditional crescent lunge. Feel your legs, feel this buoyancy here, feel that cinching in or corseting in around the waist. Reach your arms high. Take a breath in there. And then on your exhale, take your hands down to the mat. Step your right foot back halfway. Plant it kind of in the middle of your mat. And lift your left leg up. So your hands can be on blocks here. It's kind of like a weird hybrid of like a really short three-legged dog and a standing split. So you're not quite in either one. Now this might be enough. Hands can be on blocks, remember? If you'd like to explore, and keyword explore, this should be fun and playful and unstructured. If you'd like to explore, on your inhale, lift your right heel. Now zip the navel towards your spine so that your core is helping you there. And then exhale, lower the right heel down. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, lift your right heel. Shift the weight slightly towards the hands. And then exhale, lower the right heel. Now we need to get back to plank or down dog. You can walk back if you're feeling playful. Maybe you take a hop back to plank. Maybe there's a chaturanga. Remember, you can always skip it. Inhale to cobra or up dog if you took chaturanga. And exhale back, down dog. Breath in and breath out. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Take a moment to pause there, set your feet up for crescent lunge. When you're ready, you lift from the back of the ribs to lift yourself up. Cool. Feel your feet firmly on the floor there. Feel this buoyancy through the ribs. Use your breath to feel bright and buoyant here. Take an inhale. On your exhale, we're going to take the hands down to the mat or to your blocks and step the left foot back halfway. Plant it in the middle and lift your right leg. And your right leg can be just hovering off the floor or it's lifted up about halfway. Wherever it goes is perfect. Now again here, this might be plenty. It's an awkward, kind of unfamiliar shape for some of us. If you'd like to explore here, take an inhale and lift up high on your left toes. You'll feel the weight shift towards your hands. And then exhale, lower the left heel. Do one more. Inhale, lift the left heel. Exhale, lower the left heel. We need to get back to plank or down dog. Make a decision. How playful do you feel? How energized do you feel? You might feel completely fatigued and done. So just make your way back to either down dog, plank, or maybe child's pose, you're choosing. If you're in plank and you want the vinyasa, take a breath in, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog, and exhale back, down dog. Breath in and breath out. Switching it up just a bit, inhale your right leg high. On your exhale, step your right foot forward and pause. Now from here, the hands can come about, I don't know, maybe about a hand's length forwards. You're taking them slightly in front of the shoulders. They can be on blocks. We're going to press into our right foot and lift the left leg, coming into a standing split. Don't worry, we won't be here for too much longer. We're going to put a bend into our right knee, step the left foot back as if you're going to set up for crescent lunge, but then just spin the left heel down to the floor and rise open into warrior two. Front heel to back arch alignment. Nice bend to the knee, something that feels sustainable, that right knee. Press through the pinky toe edge of your back left foot. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. Reach that right arm up and back. Get space through the right side of the waist. And then on your exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Frame up your right foot. And then step the right foot back halfway. Lift the left leg. Hands can be on blocks here. If you'd like, play around with those little heel raises. Some of you may feel really playful and have a handstand practice. Absolutely, if you want to do a little butt kick here, trying to get your right heel to your right sitting bone, take it. But that's optional, it's playful. Don't feel that you need to do that. Once you've had a moment of playtime, begin to step back. We'll meet in down dog. So if you're taking the vinyasa, take it. Otherwise, we'll meet in down dog. And if you'd like your down dog to look like child's pose, absolutely take it. A break is coming after this next side. If you're with me, inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step the left foot forward and pause. Walk your hands slightly forward. And then lift that right leg up into something that is standing splits for you today. Now, standing splits, who cares how big, how high that right leg is? Standing split, your right toes might be just hovering off the mat back there. Find a place for that right leg that feels sustainable. Put a little bend in your left knee. Step the right foot back like you're coming back to your starting position, and then spin the right heel down and open up into warrior two. Front heel to back arch alignment. Shift so I can see you all. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Find some spaciousness through the left side of the waist. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Step your left foot back halfway and lift your right leg. Find a moment of playfulness right here. Maybe you lift a heel, maybe you stay still, maybe you're like, no, that's not playful for me. Choose what does feel good, and we'll all eventually meet in down dog or child's pose. So if you're taking little handstand hops or heel raises, take a few, and we'll meet. Actually, let's meet in puppy pose. So puppy pose, kind of a hybrid between child's pose and down dog. But if that's uncomfortable on the shoulders, take child's pose. So with puppy, keep the hips high. Let them come about an inch or so behind the knees, but they're still high. And walk the hands forward, letting the forehead find the floor. Now, this is a pose where I see a lot of students really forcing their way down to the floor as if they feel this need to take their chest to the mat. And for most of us, that's just not in our structure. And so just think of this as this place where you can linger and allow gravity to guide you, right? That you're not forcing your way in ever into anything. And that this is a space where the sides of the body are opening, the shoulders are opening, but it's gravity that's doing the job for you. And just take a couple of breaths here. Can you notice anything new about this shape? And by having a curiosity in our practice, it's also another tool to help us stay present. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I get in these shapes where I'm still and I start like thinking about what I need to get from the grocery store. Right? So if we really become fascinated and curious with what's happening in our body, in a shape, it is a tool to help us stay really present in the practice. Take one more breath. And then sit back on your heels or find a place to sit that's comfortable. Maybe grab a sip of water or towel off if there's any sweat. And just take a peek up here. So we're gonna start this flow the same way that we just did, with one potential change. And keyword is potential or possible change. You don't have to change anything about what we just did. We are gonna add on a little bit. So the way that we just entered in was we stepped a foot forward and then came into standing split, like so. And then we went on and came through warrior two and all of those things. What we're gonna play with, keyword play, have fun. What we're gonna play with is kind of hopping forward into standing split. Now, this is something that when I first started, the first time I ever did it, I was able to hop like an inch. So when I first started, this was my hop forward into standing split. So be great, have some grace with yourself. If this is the first time you're doing this, and we'll work through this together. But here's option one, stepping the right foot forward and lifting into standing split like we just did. And then we'll move through the rest of the series. Option two will be to inhale, lift the heels, exhale, bend your knees, and spring hop the right foot towards your hands. And it might go an inch, it might go 3 inches, it might get all the way up there. And we're in the same position that anyone else who just stepped in is in. From here, from standing split, we're gonna step back and open up through warrior two, come right into reverse. Here's where things are gonna add on. We're gonna then turn our right toes in and come into skater off to the right. So the arms go in the direction of your knee. We'll turn to the back of the space, crescent lunge. From crescent, you have the option to either lean forward or come into airplane pose. From there, we'll step back, come around, side angle. We'll reverse, and then our hands will find the floor. You'll have the option to step back and lift the leg, and then we'll do it all on the other side. Now, don't worry, we'll go through nice and slow the first time, and maybe the second and third time too. So let's come into down dog. And let's just play around with this opportunity to find some playfulness. Remember, you can choose option one, which is stepping forward. Option two is hopping forward. So let's try this together. So the right foot will be coming forward, and all we're gonna do is the split thing first. So inhale, everyone lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, and either step or try to spring the right foot towards the thumbs into something that looks something kind of like a standing split. And then just step back to down dog, and let's try the same thing again, same side. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, and either step or spring hop the right foot towards your thumbs. Wherever it lands is perfect. And step back, down dog. 2 times on the left side. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees. Step or spring hop the left foot towards your hands. You might surprise yourself. And then step back, down dog. One more time, just for some muscle memory. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees. Step or spring hop, left foot forward, standing split. Down dog, take a child's pose, pause. And visualize in your mind's eye. Like, our mind is a very powerful thing. Our mind is powerful. So if you're feeling like, you know, I'm done, I don't want to move anymore, think about just laying down and visualizing. Remember that you can step forward. You don't have to play around with hopping forward at all. Now, here's the added thing. And again, this is totally optional. I'm going to encourage you to actually step off of your mat or roll your mat up and put it aside, because this is part of being somewhat unstructured. And for some of you, this is going to be like way off your comfort zone. And if it's too much, don't do it. All right. If you really need the anchor and support of your mat, absolutely. I love my mat. My mat has been, this mat has seen everything. But if you're game, think about what it might be to come off of your comfort zone, step to the side of your mat if you have the space, or if you're like me and I don't have that space, just roll it up, set it aside. And we'll all meet in down dog. And the surface that you're practicing on might not allow this. So, you know, just please work in a way that suits you, but I'm just encouraging you to step off of the comfort area. To step outside of the comfort zone, to move off the mat, to take some of this work off the mat. Here we go. Inhale, lift high on your toes. On your exhale, bend your knees and either step or spring hop the right foot forward, standing split. Bend your right knee, step your left foot back. Open up through warrior two and come right into reverse warrior. Yay, that's your inhale. On your exhale, look at your right toes. Turn the right toes slightly in. Let the left toes turn slightly out and reach your arms over towards that right leg. So the shoulders are higher than the hips are higher than the knee. It's kind of like Skandasana, but I'm gonna call it skater. Think like Olympic speed skater. Take a couple breaths here, just kind of get this shape into muscle memory if this is unfamiliar. From here, you're gonna turn to your left and shift into crescent lunge facing the back of your mat or the back of your space because we're no longer on our mats. Take an inhale here in crescent. You have a couple of options here. On your exhale, lean your torso forward, let your arms sweep back. You can pause here. If your balance feels all right today, step into airplane pose. The left leg is your base. Chest is lifted, breath is moving. Put a bend in your left knee, step the right foot back. You're gonna turn to the right, shift your feet. Be willing to move your feet. Don't let them be stuck. Side angle, right knee bends. Right forearm to right thigh. Yeah. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, hands to the mat. Opportunity. Step the right foot back halfway and lift your left leg. Maybe this is it. Maybe there's a heel raise. Maybe there's a little butt kick or handstand hop. And let's go to down dog. Optional vinyasa here. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Might be done with these. Inhale to cobra or up dog. And exhale back, down dog. Here we go, the left leg, left foot's gonna step or spring hop. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, step or spring hop. Left foot forward, standing split. Bend your left knee, step the right foot back. Inhale, come right into reverse warrior. And pause here this first time in. Now next is skater. So look at your left toes. Turn your left toes slightly in. Turn your right toes slightly out. Arms reach off to the left. Your backside is gonna pop back a little bit. That's fine. Shoulders above hips, hips above knees. Skater. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. From here, bend into your right knee. Turn around to the back of your space. Crescent lunge. So be willing to pivot on your feet, to move your feet, to allow them to support you as we transition one foot to the other. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, lean your torso halfway forward. You might pause here or shift the weight into your right foot if your balance feels all right today. Bend your right knee, step the left foot back. You're gonna reach the arms up and over, turning to your left, shift your feet, bend your left knee, left forearm to left thigh, side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step that left foot back halfway, reach your right leg high. You can linger here, heel raises, maybe a little handstand hop. We'll all meet in down dog with an optional keyword, vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. And exhale back, down dog. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Let's do it one more time on each side, just a little bit more efficiently. If you end up facing the wrong way, who cares? Just laugh at yourself, laugh, get back in it. We'll always meet in down dog. So that will always be our kind of home base. But play around, move unstructured, don't be anchored with your thoughts. Like, be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. Here we go. It's gonna be the right foot stepping or spring hopping forward. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend the knees, step or spring hop, right foot forward, standing split. Bend the right knee, step the left foot back. Inhale, open up into reverse warrior. Right arm reaches up and high. Exhale, skater off to the right. Shift your feet. Right knee is bent. Inhale, turn to the back of your mat. Crescent lunge. Exhale into your leaning crescent or into airplane pose. What's going to feel best? Step the right foot back. Inhale, the arms up and over. Shift your feet. Exhale, side angle, right knee bends, right forearm to right thigh. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step the right foot back halfway. Lift your left leg. One time, either linger, heel raise, or handstand hop. We'll meet in down dog. Optional vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. And exhale back, down dog. Last time, last side, left foot. Inhale, the heels high. Exhale, bend the knees, step or spring hop, left foot forward, standing splits. Bend the left knee, step the right foot back. Inhale, open into reverse warrior. Left arm is high. Exhale, skater off to the left. Shift your feet. Inhale, crescent lunge, facing the back of your space. Exhale into your lean or airplane pose. Step the left foot back. Inhale, the arms up and over. Shift your feet. Exhale, side angle, left knee bends. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left arm is high. Last time, exhale to the mat. Step that left foot back halfway. Lift the right leg. Linger here. Heel raise, handstand hop. We'll meet in down dog. And pause. Just pause. If you're dying for another vinyasa, take it. And then lower down your knees. If you want to spread out your mat, do it. And just come to lay immediately on your back as quickly as you can without thinking too much about it. Once you're on your back, take a feeling moment. Notice, observe. What were your internal or external reactions when I asked you to roll up your mat? What were your reactions, internal or external, when we were moving around through unfamiliar shapes, through potentially unfamiliar transitions? Feel your heart beating, feel your breath moving. And as we linger here for just a moment before we take a few cooling down movements, I'd like to read a passage by Octavia Rahim, who is another Kara Grace ambassador. This is from her recently released book called Gather. Growth. Growth requires me to take bold action, to speak my truth, and give over to grace what my grit can't push me through. It is not linear, and it requires me to give up my stories, my clinging to limitations, even my own comfort, in order for the seeds of my purpose to flourish into their fullest potential. And then she asks a very poignant question as a prompt. What are you willing to give up in order for something, fill in the blank, to grow in your life? What are you willing to do to step out of your comfort zone to grow? Take one more breath. From here, hug your right knee in towards your chest. The left knee can be bent, left foot on the floor, or maybe the left leg stays long. Maybe you're using a strap or a scarf, hook it around the ball of that right foot, extend the right leg up. And if you aren't using a strap, just come back to kind of supporting the back of the hamstring like we did earlier in class. If you're using a strap, take both ends of the strap into your right hand, pause. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, now you can let that right leg drop as much over to the right as you choose. All I ask is that you think about working the left hip to the floor. So you're trying to anchor that left hip. Notice the difference between this movement now at this point in class as opposed to at the beginning of class. Do you find yourself wanting to go to your deepest range of motion, or do you find yourself willing to explore someplace along the way? Take one more breath here. Bring that leg back through center. If you're using a strap, put the strap around, or take both ends of the strap into your left hand. I can't speak. And then let that right leg come across the body. Again, you get to choose. It's like a choose your own adventure. Where do you want to go? I don't know if you can hear the thunder in the background of my microphone. Take one more breath. Bring that leg back through center. Remove the strap if you're using it. And again, as if that leg is moving through molasses or honey, allow it to float all the way down to the floor. Take a moment to observe in between sides. And hug the left knee in. If you're using a strap, place it around the ball of the left foot or the arch of the left foot, whatever feels best. And choose a position for that right leg that really works and feels good. If you're using the strap, take both ends into the left hand. If you're just holding on behind the back of the leg, grab wherever feels best, and then just let the leg come over to the left. And you're choosing how far, where you want to linger, where do you want to explore. Anchor down through that right hip. For me, it's always helpful to actually place my right hand on the top of my right hip, that frontal hip bone there, just as a reminder. Allow yourself to be kind of fascinated by the quote unquote journey rather than the end point or the destination. So become fascinated by all of the little things that you might notice in the in-between spaces. Take one more breath. And bring that leg across the body, switching the strap up if you are using a strap. And again, you're in control. This kind of choose your own adventure of where you want that leg to go. Where does it feel the most interesting, the most informative, the most useful? Take one more breath or two more breaths here, whatever you feel that you need. Can you let the jaw be soft, back of the skull resting softly? And come back through center, release the strap, let that left leg float. down, down, down. Decide if there's any final shape that you need before you settle into your Shavasana. And once you are ready, Shavasana waits for you. This moment of pause to let everything kind of culminate. To let everything sink in. And as you linger here in Shavasana, I'd like to read a passage to you entitled "You're Going Someplace New." It's by Melody Beatty. You are opening up more and more. You are becoming clearer each day. Embrace the changes taking place. They are good. They will last. They will take you and your life to someplace new. Someplace you can't fully imagine now because it's so different from where you've been. All will be changed. Your life, your love, your friends, your work, your quiet moments and your times of sharing, your playtime, your rest time. Your attitude will change. Your ability to fully and joyfully experience your life will change. Things that used to bother you, hold you down, hold you back, will roll easily off of you. Problems that used to plague and pester you, making you feel weighted down, will be lifted easily. You will know and trust that the answers you need will come to you. You will laugh a lot, and yes, you will cry a lot too, because an open heart feels all it needs to feel. But you will not think twice about your emotions. You will feel them with the purity of a child and the wisdom of a sage. You will see, touch, taste, and feel life's magic in a way you never imagined. You will love and you will be loved. And you will learn that it is all the same. You are open, more open than you've ever been. Trust the process. Trust your heart. The journey is not in vain. Its purpose is to lead you to love. Begin to bring some awareness to your fingers and your toes. Place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. Checking in again and connecting to the beating of your heart, to the rise and the fall of your ribs and your abdomen as you take the breath in and let the breath go. Finding gratitude for this body, this practice, this community of people that have gathered together from all over the world to share community. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug, a squeeze. You're worth it. Roll off to your favorite side. Press yourself up to sit. Maybe keep your eyes closed on that transition. Place your right hand over your heart, left hand over the right in this mudra, this hand position called metta, that is symbolizing loving kindness. And I invite you to spread loving kindness to your communities, but to not forget yourself along the way. I honor the place in each of you in which the entire universe dwells, and I honor the place in each of you that is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. Thank you so much for choosing to share some small part of your Saturday with me and for trusting me with your practice. I hope I'll see you all again soon, somewhere, somehow, some way. Have a wonderful day, everyone. May you have open heart, open mind. I can't unmute everyone. Maybe Kira will unmute us all.
Thank you, Valerie. That was so nice.
Oh, you're so welcome. So nice to see all of you and your names, even though I don't know all of you. Thank you for coming.
That was great.
So nice to see all of you. I have to remember that my camera's up there, not my computer. I always want to look at my computer, but it's up here. Have a wonderful Saturday.
You too.
I'll stick around if anyone has questions. You just want to chat.
Tell me about it.
Lisa, Caroline.
Pregnant, you know, your big news of the day?
Who has big news? Someone has big news today.
See, what to see?
Oh.
Maybe he's taking a shit or something.
Oh, I love all the chats. You're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, love back to Chicago. Oh, the book that I was reading at the end of class. Hang on a second. So I read 2 readings. The first one was from this one, Gather by Octavia Rahim. That's what I read at kind of the mini Shavasana. And then you can see my very well loved book, Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty. Can you see that? It's daily meditations. So there's one for every day, and here's the other one, which just came out. Octavia is another Cure Grace ambassador. It's really wonderful. It's got some really awesome nuggets and reflections in there too. So